Closing up shop here on Overtime tonight. Mark, you've been rolling on your picks. You went 6-1 last week, and then we'll see how you did this past week. In order to do so, we stay transparent around here. These are our picks from last week as we flash back to a week ago.
I got Auburn, Georgia, Kentucky, and then it went back and forth. Went Michigan State, now I'm back at Michigan.
And you know what? Actually, I have this exact same for Auburn, Georgia, Kentucky, and Michigan. Meanwhile, our last three, Texas, Baylor, Penn State, Ohio State, SMU, Houston. Who you like?
Baylor, Ohio State, and Houston.
I got Texas, Ohio State, and Houston in our game against the spread. I'll go with Georgia. We'll discuss that coming up next week here on Overtime. So that's how we did last week. Mark, you followed up a 6-1 effort with a 5-2 effort. You're rolling these past couple of weeks. Meanwhile, I'm 4-3 in back-to-back weeks. We both missed Kentucky. We also both missed Michigan. But
Michigan, man. Come on, 30-14, man.
As you heard and as you said right there, you were back and forth on the Wolverines as well as the Spartans, and you ended up landing on the Wolverines with me, and then also Texas. I lost that one. You got that one. So those are our picks from last week. We'll see how we're doing overall for the year. You're starting to separate yourself from me. You're 3 games ahead now after a 5-2 year. You're 35-21, 62% overall. Let's go to the games coming up for this upcoming weekend. We got Auburn, Texas A&M, Bama hosting LSU, Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Tennessee, Kentucky. These first four, who you like?
I'm going to take Auburn, Alabama, Arkansas, and Tennessee.
Wow, I like Texas A&M, I like Alabama, and I like Mississippi State to keep it rolling, and then I'll take Kentucky.
Yeah. I mean, these are really hard.
These are difficult games.
This is the most difficult we've had because these teams are all real even.
Exactly. Our final 3 games, Purdue, can they be world beaters again? They got Michigan State. Meanwhile, Wake Forest is at North Carolina. And Oklahoma State at West Virginia. The Tar Heels, meanwhile, a 2.5-point favorite against Wake Forest, who's in the top 10. Who you like in these last ones?
You know I got Purdue, man. We were talking about that before. I mean, it is so set up for them to beat Michigan State this week. If they don't, I'll be shocked. I'm going to go with the upsets here. I think North Carolina, and I'm going to go with West Virginia.
I like
this is where I could tank and go 0-6. You know?
I like
0-7.
I like it. I'll go with Michigan State. I'll go with the Spartans. Meanwhile, I'll also take Wake Forest, and I'll also take Oklahoma State to do their
so we
thing
got all.
This
is where we're really going to start moving here.
We'll see some separation. Exactly. And then we'll talk about some tiebreakers off the board. Well, thank you for joining us here tonight on our program. Keep in mind, tomorrow night you have some playoff football coming your way. GW Long at BB Comer. That's the game tomorrow night. Andalusia and Sylacauga on Friday. Thank you for joining us this week. We will see you next week on Monday night here on Overtime.